Hi everybody. I went to type up my blog and I was like, I'm not going to be able to type this up. This is a long story that I'll try to make kind of short, but it's easier when I say it, I guess. Just wanted to tell you about something kind of crazy that happened today. Um, as I've said before, we've been struggling with the decision to even come out here and do this trial or not. And um, when my tumor was growing, my doctor kind of said, your options are to go on the BRAF inhibitors. These are the drugs I've been talking about that work for most people, but they only work for a short time. Or I can do the TIL, and I've always said no to the BRAF drugs because they only work for a short time, and I want to wait till I really need them, till I'm symptomatic, or there's no other options left. So I said, let's go ahead with the TIL. We started the process, called Washington, got everything moving, applied to the insurance, they denied, appealed to the insurance, they denied again, and they gave us an estimate for how much it would cost to self-pay for the trial. And in a best case scenario, they said it would be $189,000. So that's a ton of money, we understand, but they said we could put $56,000 down before we started, and then we could make payments on the rest. So we decided to do that and move forward with that. And even though that sounds like so much money, especially, you can think about what good that money could do somewhere else, or just, is it even worth, is it worth it, basically? And I just kind of think that anybody would do whatever they could do, to save a family member or to potentially save a family member. So also, if it gave me 2 extra years, or just more time, that would kind of make up for it, or I'd get a job and pay it off, or whatever. We had a lot of ways, but anyway, I've had my reservations about the trial. I'm worried about it killing off my immune system that's done pretty well for the last couple of years, and then I'm worried about my colon. So we just weren't really 100% sure, but we were leaning toward the TIL trial. The day before we were supposed to leave, I got an email that told us that we had to have the full amount before we started the trial. And we had to start the trial today, or the cells wouldn't work anymore because they're out of the freezer now. They're growing them, they're expanding them. So we totally freaked out, and they basically said, if you can't do that, just let us know. We'll try to put the cells back in. We understand that's just a ton of money, and obviously to come up with in one day is just kind of ridiculous. So at that point, we almost backed out. But we talked to the financial people. We finally agreed that we would, that if we could get half down before we started, that we could, within 30 days, we'd have to get the rest of it. So that was super stressful, and I think I cried about it the whole way to Boise. That day, I felt like we probably wouldn't go through with it, and just because not because of the 189 necessarily, but if something goes wrong and your insurance company isn't behind you, it could be 200, $500,000, $1 million. The bills could just be crazy. And if you can imagine how hard it is to think about leaving your family bankrupt, or not leaving your family in a position, if I were to die and they they were just in a really bad position. That just made me nervous. And Josh has been trying to tell me don't worry about the money, and my dad says don't even factor in the money, and that's what everyone says basically. But it was really hard for me um, because anyway, it would be a nightmare if something went wrong basically. So um, so the next day on our way to Seattle, we talked about all the pros and cons of doing either of the treatments, and really when they said we may not be able to start because we had to have the full amount, I started thinking of the other option, which was a BRAF and then possibly surgery or PD-1 after, that the doctor had given me those options, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, I think I'd totally be okay with that. And so then the logic of if I'm okay with that option, or if I'm okay with doing the trial, if I'm okay with either of those options, and this is the first time in my life I've been okay with doing BRAF, then why wouldn't I pick the easier one, way easier? It's just pills at my house, and why wouldn't I choose that option, which would be free for us, or the insurance pays for that. So we totally went into our appointment just telling them that we had decided not to do the trial. And the doctor, first of all, took away all my fears of complications, which is what I'm worried about, mostly because of how much that would cost us down the road. She's really not worried about my colon, and she's really, what was my other thing that I was worried about? I can't remember, but she thinks she would be very surprised if I spent any extra time in the hospital, and if anything came up, she would just be very surprised. She thought it would, be that big of a gamble, because she thought it would work out well. But there was the money situation still, and she just said, if you take the money away, this is your best option, which is what my doctor has decided, and the tumor board in Utah kind of got together and talked about my case, and they did agree that they thought if I had the opportunity to do the TIL right now, that I should do that first. So we signed the consent basically yesterday. No, sorry, that was not yesterday. Back up. So yesterday after the appointment, they said, well, you can think it over tonight and come back tomorrow morning. And so at 8 a.m. we went back, and we had decided that to do the trial and to move forward with it. And as soon as we signed the consent, Josh got a phone call from our financial girl at Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, who we had been talking to about payment, and she said she just got off the phone with our insurance company, and they had called her and told her that they would pay for the trial, to send it back in to ask for a second level appeal, but I hadn't done that, and I have no idea who was still looking at our case, or how it was brought up to them again. But pretty much Josh was kind of getting teary, right? It was just pretty miraculous. That the timing was really strange. I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been as stressful of a week if we would have known it, but it was just a huge relief and an awesome gift, and just kind of made it like, okay, we made the right choice, and we were willing to to sacrifice everything we had for this chance, but we don't have to, and that's so awesome. So we're just feeling really, really super extra blessed today. So I was admitted. We were just on cloud nine, and they're starting to hydrate me now, and they'll start the chemo a little bit later. They got a PICC line halfway up my arm today. They could only thread it like to my armpit and couldn't get it to my heart. So we're in a little bit of trouble because I can't really put it in this side. I've had surgery here, and this side had a blood clot, so that's what they're running into problems. I think they're gonna try tomorrow to fix it. But anyway, it's delayed everything, and now we're just gonna do the chemo through my hand IV tonight, and then try to fix it tomorrow. So anyway, this first week I will just be kind of tired and nauseous, and that's as hard as it gets this week. It won't be bad. We'll try to keep you updated, and I've talked for a long time. I'm sorry. But big news of the day, we somehow got this approved. It was crazy. Just a crazy day. Crazy, great day. And we're started, and we're here, and we're excited, and we're grateful for everybody and your thoughts and prayers, and everyone who's taking care of our kids and our dog and our house and stuff. So we will see you soon.